everybody. I call the council meeting to order. If everybody would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us. Mr. Clerk, do we have a quorum?
We do have a quorum.
All right, wonderful. So, welcome everybody to the September 2022 Town Council meeting for the town of Sharpsburg. As you can see, we have several guests with us tonight because we have several things for the town to proclaim for the month of September 2022. The very first one is the Coweta Community Foundation's 25th birthday. I'd like to ask Ms. Cynthia Bennett, the board chair, to step up and speak for just a few minutes on what they're doing today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are delighted to be here this evening, and we're very grateful for the support of this town council to declare September Coweta Community Foundation Month. Now, the reason that this is so important to us is because we are celebrating our 25th year in existence. We began under the auspices of the Noonan Coweta Chamber and then went out on our own as a 501c3. The foundation has been quietly working in our community over the years, but of course the opportunity for us to flex our strength came when the EF4 tornado hit our community. And all of the funding came through the foundation. We were basically the fiscal agent for all of the emergency funds. And that has helped us grow and get stronger. We have an absolutely marvelous staff led by our executive director, Kristen Webb. There are members of our board here this evening as well. Dean Jackson, you may all know, is with the community Coweta, school system and is the immediate past chair. Our celebrations this month include a concert. Brantley Gilbert is the headliner, and the concert is Wednesday evening. And we are delighted to say that we've received a sellout for our sponsorship tents. If you are interested in coming to the concert, make sure that you talk to Kristen before she leaves this evening or give her a call tomorrow. We would love to have you come as our guests. We would invite you to enjoy some courtesy tickets. And then on Sunday the 25th, we are having a birthday party. It is free to the community, and it is taking place at Kids Castle Park on the Noonan Utilities property. Kids Castle Park was the very first organization, very first project that was completed with the financial support of the foundation. And so we're actually having a birthday party with cake and celebrations and all sorts of games and activities for the kids. We're also sponsoring an art project for all of the schools in the area, a competition. There will be 3 top winners and that are celebrating what community means to them. So it's a jam-packed month. We're delighted that it is happening, and we're pleased to be here this evening. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so I won't read the entire thing, but I will proclaim part of. Whereas the Coweta Community Foundation was established in 1997 under the guidance of the Noonan Coweta Chamber of Commerce, and whereas the Coweta Community Foundation has a long and notable history of supporting community interests, with 2 of its earliest projects being the Kids Castle Playground and the local literacy program CLICK. Certified literacy is Coweta's key. And whereas in recent years the Coweta Community Foundation has served nonprofits at a time of extraordinary need, including helping nonprofits survive the pandemic that started in 2020, supporting the immediate and unique needs of individuals and nonprofits following the EF4 tornado that ravaged Coweta County in 2021, and most recently addressing community needs around the current inflation. And whereas the Coweta County Community Foundation is celebrating its 25th anniversary during the month of September, I, Blue Cole, by virtue of the authority vested in me as the mayor of the town of Sharpsburg, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2022 as Coweta Community Foundation Month in the town of Sharpsburg, and call upon the people of Sharpsburg to congratulate the Coweta Community Foundation on its 25th anniversary. So proclaimed this 12th day of September, 2022. In addition to the Community Foundation, we also have one of the nonprofits that is supported by the Community Foundation is Coweta Force. September 2022 is National Recovery Month, and to celebrate that and to proclaim that in the town of Sharpsburg, I'd like to ask Mr. Hank Arnold, the Executive Director and Founder of Coweta Force, to stand up and speak to us for just a second.
Right, you get all that.
I know, right?
Great job.
And I get it almost in one breath, too.
That's right. So I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you guys for your support. And I didn't know that you all would be here at the foundation, but it is really nice to be here with friends and somewhat like community partners and family. It feels like the Coweta Community Foundation has done a lot to support our organization, and just really grateful for you guys and all the success that's happening. So my name is Hank Arnold. I am the founder and director of Coweta Force. FORCE stands for Friends of Recovery for Community Empowerment. We are an independent 501c3, and we've been in existence since we did our first planning meeting in January 2016. So I really like to say we're established then. We were kind of a group of interested community members. And the reason why I'm so passionate about September being National Recovery Month is that I'm also a person in long-term recovery. And what that means for me is I haven't used alcohol or any other drug in a little over 12 years. And as a result of that, and as a result of my recovery, my life has just gotten a lot better. I speak out about my recovery as often as possible because I feel like everybody deserves the opportunities that I've had to get and stay well. And because of my recovery, my wife has her husband, and our 5 children have their father. And I'm a contributing member to society. And I know that now more than ever is recovery needed in our community. We are at a national, the number for overdoses and substance use disorders is greater than it's ever been, with over 110,000 Americans that have lost their life to substance use in the last 12 months. And that means that if you're an American under the age of 50, you're more likely to die from a substance use disorder than anything else. And that is unacceptable. So for me, National Recovery Month actually started in 1989, where recovery advocates came forward and were proclaiming National Recovery Month because of the shame and stigma associated with substance use. Most people won't come forward and ask for help because of what their community members will think about them and what their family members will think about them, and there's so much shame around it is that oftentimes families feels like it's their fault, and it's not. And so we want to be that resource in our community for anybody that's struggling with substance use or any family member that's trying to support somebody struggling with substance use challenges. So thank you for the opportunity, and we're just grateful for the ability to be a trusted resource in our community. We're serving an average of 1,700 people a month, and that's not bad, that's good. When we have duplicated numbers, that is a good thing because the more people are staying connected to our organization and connected to the recovery community, the better they're doing. So that's a good thing that we have is 1,700 people a month that we're serving. So we're grateful for the opportunity to be here, grateful for the support of the town of Sharpsburg and its community members. So thank you.
Yeah.
Hank, please let me proclaim this with you right here beside me. Whereas behavioral health is an essential part of health and one's overall wellness, and whereas prevention of mental and substance use disorders works, treatment is effective, and people recover across Georgia and around the nation, and whereas the 2022 Recovery Month theme, Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community, reminds people in recovery and those who support them that no one is alone in the journey through recovery. And while everyone's journey is different, we are all in this together. And whereas to help more people achieve and sustain long-term recovery, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, Alcohol and Drug Abuse Certification Board of Georgia, the Association of Community Services Boards, the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities, the Georgia Addiction Counselors Association, the Georgia Association of Recovery Residencies, the Georgia Council on Substance Abuse, and Coweta Force invite all residents of the state of Georgia to participate in National Recovery Month. Now, therefore, finally, I, Blue Cole, by virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of town of Sharpsburg, do hereby proclaim the month of September 2022 as National Recovery Month in the town of Sharpsburg, and call upon the people of Sharpsburg to observe this month with appropriate programs, activities, and ceremonies to support this year's Recovery Month theme. Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, and every community. Thank you. All right, thank y'all so much. One of the things that is so important to me is not just the town itself, but the community that surrounds the town. Sharpsburg is just a fraction of the population and the people in Coweta County, but when I can bring all these friends and all these great people together, numbers don't mean anything. We're the biggest part of the community that we want to be. So thank y'all for the work that you do. I know it's tireless. It's past dinner time, I think on a Monday evening, and you know, it's folks like you that make this such a great place. So thank y'all for everything. I'm proud to be associated with each one of y'all, and thank you for everything that you guys have done. Okay, so now moving on the rest of the agenda. The next item that we have is a review and approval of the minutes from August 8th of 2022. If you guys will flip to the third, maybe fourth page of our packet.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
All right, we have a motion.
Second.
All right, we have a second. All in favor? Unanimous, thank you. Next item is an update on the back parking lot and the parking lot during construction. So as you can tell, they've finally started working on the back parking lot. Concrete and curb work is scheduled for next week, the week of the 19th. They should be putting in rock and continuing to work on the grading. Concrete curbs, walking trail will be poured the week of the 19th, and then they'll come back in and do the asphalt after that. I know in the minutes that we hope the work would be done by this point. They've had, last week was a solid rain out. They had 1 week, probably I think the week after the August meeting, it was rained out. And it's just taking a little bit more time. I wish it was faster, but I fully believe what we're going to get is going to be worth it, and it's going to make everything just so much better from the parking sense and from the amenity sense, and then eventually from the decoration and the beautification sense. So there's really not a whole lot of updates other than they're working on it. The 19th is the next big step. I will say though that while the parking lot has been unavailable, Joe has been kind enough to let us use the old post office and the
Nice.
grass lot over there.
Great.
So thank you to him,
Yeah,
Mr.
that's
Bridges,
great.
and the family for helping
Very
with that. And we're just waiting for it to get done.
Yeah.
Has anything come up? Any kind of road bump?
Not so much that will slow down or stop any construction. They noticed that the pavilion out there has a crack that is running all the way through it, and they cut in a compression joint in there to help ease some of it. They poked a stick in there, and there's a void forming that they're going to fill that in and make sure that, to try to keep it, to keep sinking, to keep it from sinking, they're gonna be repairing that. As far as any big bumps in the road,
No
knock
earth
on
mover-
wood, not
no-
yet.
No buried earth movers? or-
Not, so apparently it's just an urban legend.
Urban legend.
Thankfully. Just an
Okay.
urban legend.
Good, good.
Yes.
Good, good.
So, we're happy. I do wish that it was going faster, but that's just the nature of construction. The county has been wonderful. They actually have come up with a couple of ideas that have saved us. I don't know how much it's going to save in the long run, but I know it saved several days worth of digging and 8 to a dozen truckloads
That adds up.
to maintain the grade out there. So we were able to cut back on some of the concrete and make the swope of the walking trail does not require ADA switchbacks.
Okay.
Or the rails, which were going to be part of the thing that was going to delay some of it.
Okay.
We also graded out the stairs on the backside, so there's no more stairs on the backside of it. It just,
Nice.
it swoops up at a gentle
Nice.
pace or whatever. So we're at a good spot with it.
Great.
Good.
Moving on, the next thing is, following our last meeting, is we had 2 people go out and look at the Beckham house, the house at 39 Main Street. And the news was not what we hoped it would be. There are a number of structural issues with the structure, everything from the roof trusses to the foundation to the flooring. All the mechanical systems are going to have to be replaced, electrical. It needs central heating and air. It's old piping, so it's going to need it to be usable. It would almost have to be completely replaced. That, of course, leaves us really with 2 options. Try to repair it at a higher than normal cost for what may be limited usability, or we can knock it down or have it taken off site and use that open space for something else. A stage, a platform, something to acknowledge the house, I think, and the family
Yeah.
that lived there and raised their family there. But it doesn't look like it's going to be a usable structure for the town, unfortunately. We had Safe Built, our code enforcement, come out and look at it, and then we also had a qualified home inspector. We have observations with pictures.
Yeah, it's really long.
Yeah, I will say
Very
kudos
thorough,
to
yeah.
Safe Built for their documentation. I mean, there's a good bit of it. We do have a report from the home inspector as
Yeah.
well.
That's the one that's,
Is it?
In fact, the first page is Safe Built, the rest is home inspector.
Oh, okay, so my apologies. Okay, please make a note to correct in the record that the in-depth inspection is the home scan home inspections, and the letter that's referenced is Safe Built's. So yeah, so it's the home inspector that has such the in-depth report. So what I would like to do, Council, I'm not going to ask anybody for any motions tonight. We don't have any of the folks
Yeah.
here. What I would like to do is, we have a work session next Monday. I want to kind of start talking about the shape of our master planning process or project, and just kind of figure out the shape of the roadmap in the first meeting, or the work session that's coming up on Monday. And then, as part of that master plan, we talk about what is the master plan for the municipal complex, including the community center, park and pavilion, the Arbor Valley property, and now, of course, the Beckham property. That would be one of the things that I would recommend that we get on right off the bat. And 2, I want to talk with the Beckhams and let them know what we found. And I would put forth that if they would like to purchase the house or take the house and move it somewhere, that would be something I'd be completely open to, because if they want to do that, I certainly say let's
Yeah.
let's offer it to them
Or
and talk
be
to them
involved
about
in
it.
the ideas of, yeah.
Mhm, yeah.
From what I've seen in here, that's very nice offer to make, but it won't make it.
You know, I definitely want to have some extra straps on there,
Yeah.
as it's, in some cross bracings,
Yeah.
so, but
You
I
can make
think,
the offer.
yeah, but I think that we'll just go from here and just develop more options for council. I think that's really the best thing that we can do.
Sounds good.
Well, let's put our heads together and come up with several options.
Mhm.
I can think of 3 off the top of my head,
Okay,
you know, and when the time's right, we can go over it.
all right. Unless I have any other questions on here, I'll move on to the budget. Floyd, do you want to speak to the budget?
As far as the budget's concerned, we're in good shape. It's kind of what we always say, and we still remain very conservative in our approach.
Mhm.
We're going to be working on the fiscal year '23 budget in short order to be coming to council about it.
Okay. And as far as our percentages for myself included, our numbers people, we have received 83% of the budget, being, 9/12 of the way there. We have paid out only 49%, so we have paid out less than half of our budget. Kudos
That's
to staff on that one. Half of our budget, and we're over 3/4 of the way through the year. For our SPLOST, we have received 104% for the year. We're budgeted at 57,000. We have received 59 with 1/4 remaining. We are also working on, Floyd is working on some new ways to show and display our budget information. I've had a glance at it. It is very, very good and very thorough, and it breaks everything down between obligated, unobligated, SPLOST, LMIG, general fund,
Yeah.
revenue, expenditures. I mean, it's just.
Exactly, it's a snapshot look at what we really have, but
Good.
instead of getting real numbers just thrown at you, it really
Yeah.
shows exactly what's designated, what's not, et cetera.
And it does exactly what I hope that staff and everybody continues to do, is they just build off the good work that came. He took Dina's spreadsheet and then built off of it.
Yeah.
And it's just,
Awesome.
we got the right people in the right places, I think.
Definitely.
Any other questions on the budget or the budget review? All right, the last thing that we have under old business is the pine straw. Floyd, I'm
Yep.
gonna let you speak to that because you have had more of the conversations.
Absolutely. So at the last council meeting we had, of course, there was the approval of council to put blown mulch around this center and in the park area. After that, I received a phone call after kind of going back and forth. I received a phone call that their national headquarters of 1-800-MULCH had given a directive that they no longer will do blown mulch anywhere. And to that end, they said they would give us a 10% purchase on mulch, but we'd have to have somebody else to do it.
To
So-
install it.
To install it, yes. So I brought it to the work session meeting that we last had, and we were able to get the number of a third person to give a quote for pine straw. I've put the 3 quotes in here for consideration. They're roughly in the same quotes. The first one is $3,362 for 350 bales of pine straw. The other 2 quotes had 15 bales more each, but they're close to $100 and $200 more. So my recommendation was let's go with the low quote of $2,362.50 and get the pine straw put in.
That guy does a good job too. He's kind of unknown to us, but I've known some people who he's worked with, and he's good.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the quote of $2,362.50.
Now, second it.
All right, so Elizabeth had the first, Tom had the second, to accept the 2362.50 pine straw quote. All in favor? All right, unanimous, thank you. And Floyd, let's kind of have him come out and do everything that he can.
Okay.
And then if he leaves any off, because I know that they're clearing that back out, just,
We'll work with it.
yeah, just tell him to work with it, because I know it's a fluid situation.
Yes.
So, that being our new business, our old business, and our proclamations, is there any
Hey, 6:30 is better.
comments or questions from the public?
I got one.
Mhm.
You mentioned, I think it was at the last meeting, some concern about the overwhelming building, that's my word, not yours,
Mm-hmm.
going on, and said you all needed to have a meeting of some sort of
Mhm.
plan, or,
Mhm.
so what
Mhm.
was that, kind of what's that about?
So what we're kind of tossing about is, we have 12 parks that's coming in over here. We've got the new section of 12 parks that's just tapped into 54. We have various other little pops of growth that's going on around the city. I would like for the town to take a little bit more of an active role in the growth and the development that's going on around us. And while we only obviously have we can only control what's in our jurisdiction, I think that our voice can carry a lot of weight when we try to make the case for additional amenities, additional supports, additional traffic studies, just not stopping the growth, but making sure that we slow down and say, is it in the places that we want it? And to that end,
You're talking about in the city or the border out around?
so ideally, in my mind, the process would do both. We would reaffirm.
Kind of a mutual agreement.
Yes, ma'am, correct. And then what I would like to do is come up and go to the county and say, okay, for this part of 16 that goes from Sharpsburg out towards Poplar Road, we would like to suggest these kind of improvements, and whatever the case may be. And then when they're going up 54 towards Bob Smith, hey, let us add our voice to improving the Bob Smith 54 intersection, fixing that skew. And how can we coordinate some of our projects to help them? Because if I go to DOT and say, I want to improve Dollar General down to McIntosh Trail, if I start pulling that string at the same time, the county goes and says, we want to work on Bob Smith, and they can put in some money. The town's got a little bit of SPOS money for that particular project. And just whatever it fits, we all do more together. And and two, I want to be able to put something out there that says we want our town and our area to look like this. Whatever this is. I'm not saying what this is. I want to open up the discussion and say, what do we want this to look like?
How can you do that? How do you do that? Through the commissioners or through who do you do that?
Well, for the town of Sharpsburg, we're doing it by council action or by council discussion.
You're talking about the borderline, so you have to be working with the council.
Oh, yeah, oh, absolutely. So if like,
Commissioner.
yeah, the commissioners, yes, would work with Commissioner Poole and Administrator Fouts and say, hey, we have a concern about this section of just outside of Sharpsburg. What can we do to help? And just, we can't force anybody to do anything, but a reasonable discussion with a willing partner goes a long way. And that's all that I want to do.
And you'd hope they'd listen, at least
Yeah.
take you under advisement.
Mm-hmm.
Say again?
At least they'd take you under advisement, you would hope.
Yeah.
And listen to what you're
I
concerned
wonder
about.
sometimes if they do though.
Well, if you don't do anything,
Okay.
You listen online.
if you don't do anything, they're gonna do whatever they wanna do,
Yeah, that's all.
and they're gonna assume that you're happy with it.
But Commissioner Poole put out a thing about 2 or 3 weeks ago about this other huge one that's coming right in this
Yes.
immediate area.
Yeah, and that was actually something that I had called Administrator Fouts and said, we may want to put out a joint letter because everybody was just losing their minds. Oh, 1,000 acres, 1,000 homes, they're going to, but it's not zoned for that. It's not in our comprehensive plan. There's no services out there to support it. So all of the fluster and fluff about 1,000 homes, not the way that it's currently drawn.
But they're talking about the county, not the town.
Correct, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yep. But because I was getting phone calls. It's in Sharpsburg, what are y'all going to do about it? Well, and that's when you explain the difference between incorporated and unincorporated.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
oh, sure, absolutely. Any other public comments?
I just would like to say I'm grateful to be here. I am a Sharpsburg resident.
Yes.
And we moved here in 2017 and we've had our kids' graduation parties, both of them over here at the pavilion. Last month we had our recovery month thing. It's been really cool to see. I appreciate the whole council and the leadership's approach to like collaborative efforts and partnerships and partnering with the neighboring communities. So that's
Thank
great.
you. We appreciate anything to make our community stronger. Any other public comments before I go to polling of council? Mr. Sears. We don't have anything else to vote on.
Okay.
We're, well, other than adjournment. Oh, yeah, no, I knew, yeah. Yes, sir. Mr. Teagle, anything for polling the council?
Mary's gonna bring you those pictures, or
Okay.
bring you those color slots.
Color swatches, okay.
I don't think there's any action needs to be taken, so
I
she'll be here anytime.
I'm not gonna even pretend to pick out the perfect color combination. So if she tells you this is what's gonna look good, I'm gonna say yes, ma'am.
Yeah, well, she's picked out some pretty good looking stuff.
I mean, I know where my strengths are and I know where my weaknesses are, so I'm gonna, just let her do that.
Yeah, well,
Well, we appreciate that. Mr. Jones.
I'm also colorblind, so I'm not gonna weigh in on that one. Okay, so, I received an email on Thursday. I forwarded it to you, Mayor, but I'll just pass it along as well. This is a consultant that's working on behalf of Georgia Department of Transportation, asking for our concerns, our thoughts on the widening of Georgia Highway 154 from State Road 29 all the way to 54 down here. So that's, that's north of 85, Interstate 85 Highway, all the way down to here. I don't have a time frame on it. They did not give me a time frame, but I wanted to also pass it out to you, the council, see if you had thoughts, because they're starting to look in this preliminary.
A little bit of background information. Each DOT project has to go through certain due diligence. They're simply doing this. This is a programmed expansion from 2 lanes to 4 lanes from approximately 29, like Floyd said, all the way down here to the turn at 154. They're just looking for input and solicitation. I think they're going to do the interstate to Hammock Road first, and then interstate to 29 second, and then they'll just start coming down this way. So we have a while.
Right.
But at the same time, this is the kind of stuff that we're getting ahead of when we try to have our master planning. It's so much more efficient when someone can come to us and we can say, well, here's our plan, or whatever it is.
Do the segments again?
So the segments, and so I will say that this is secondhand information, but the segments are going to be the interstate to Hammock Road, which is the first red light past Raymond Hill, and Hammock Road goes off to the right. Then they're going to do the interstate to 29 heading back north, going over the railroad, let me rephrase that, including the railroad. I don't know what the solution's going to be to that yet, because they've had a couple that have been proposed, including a flyover bridge and including some other kind of lane configuration. And then they'll start coming towards Thomas Crossroads and then down towards East Coweta.
And
So-
you're talking several years.
Yes, sir.
Several years.
I would anticipate that, yes, sir.
I would anticipate that too, but like it has been said several times, it's good to get on the front end of this.
Oh,
So,
sure.
That's what we're doing.
And I think for us, for that side of Sharpsburg, it's going to be, we have had conversations with DOT about improving the intersection, the 3-way intersection right there by the high school. That has come up before, so whether that's going to be independent or tied in, I don't know. But pedestrian safety, connectivity, and volume during the school times, I think would be the area that the town would want to push for.
Well, that and the intersection of Tarrentine and 154.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old raw sore with us.
You know what, you're right. If it's making that turn and they're going to do the entire length, if they're coming all the way down to 54, they're going to take in the turn. Yeah, can we make a note to follow up on that, Floyd? Because that's a great place to jump on.
Yeah. Tell them to leave out traffic circles too, by the way.
Leave out?
Leave them out.
Leave them out?
Yeah, leave them
As in
out.
don't do them?
Absolutely don't do them.
Well, see, I am of the opinion that if we put a 3-way traffic circle right outside the high school and we force the kids to drive through it, they're going to learn how to drive it. And in 15 years, I want people that can't drive are going to be the old parts like us who haven't had the training inside the traffic circle.
I don't know about you, but I do know how to drive. I'm good with it, so I can make it happen.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Yeah. I love a good traffic circle.
Yep.
You know?
I had no official stance in this, but I witnessed the death of the last one in 1975 in Savannah. And it was killed with great fanfare.
Really?
Yeah, because we learned our lesson.
Oh, not to do them.
Not to do them. I see them coming up now, I go, Millennials are nuts.
Okay. So as far as mayor's updates, oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Go
one
ahead,
other
no, no,
thing.
continue, I'm sorry.
I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead.
one other thing, also a reminder, I know it's sort of back-to-back meetings, but as a reminder, Monday next week, 6 o'clock,
Mhm.
we're gonna be beginning the first talk about the overall master
Okay.
plan as well.
And we will have somebody from Georgia Power coming in with some demographic information. She shared it with us over the last week or so. No real big surprises, but I think it's a good, crisp look at our current Sharpsburg data and population and impact. And we're also going to get some of the circle maps and diagrams showing what we've got within so many miles of downtown.
Let's talk offline.
We're still, as far as our master planning discussion, we're still gonna kind of talk amongst ourselves first.
Yes, yes, oh, yes, sir, yeah, this is
Yep.
just going to be among us.
Among us, all right.
Yep.
I'm good.
Okay, good. All right. Mayor's updates. I don't really have anything other than just to say thank you for the work that everybody's been putting in. Very pleased with this year. It has been a good year for us. It's been a good year personally and professionally. And just looking forward to a strong finish, get a good budget, and then kind of springboard some things for 23 because time's ticking. Any other final comments? Larry, what you got?
I got the paint colors.
Paint colors, okay.
You wanna see them and?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, these are stains, these are solid
Okay.
stains. So
Alright.
that would be the siding,
Okay.
that would be the trim, so
Okay.
all the soffit areas.
Mhm.
And that the door, unless you wanna do like a rusty red, we can do that too.
Okay, what is that? You want to take it and
Yeah,
kind of show it?
so we've got the siding outside.
Yeah.
The trim, and the doors.
Yeah, it's good sharp.
Yeah, and then these are the interior colors. All the trim, that, which will look better than the stain,
Uh-huh.
and that on the walls.
What about the chair road out here? Is it still going to be stained or is it going to be?
I would paint it, that, yeah, that gray green.
Okay.
And the base floor too?
like that
whole
Yeah.
Speaking to a fellow
Not
designer,
fellow what?
interior designer.
That's what I am.
That's awesome.
Okay, so do you want everybody else to see them?
I know, I'll take y'all's word for it.
Okay. Tom's probably seen them 10 times
He
already.
hadn't seen them.
He hadn't seen
Yeah, I've seen them, I've seen them, yeah.
See, he was paying attention.
Okay.
That's my wife.
Huh? Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's why we're so familiar. Yes, I'm sorry, I forgot about that context.
You're gonna start painting tomorrow?
Well, I was gonna tell you, he probably could start in October sometime, so mid to the end of October,
Okay. Yeah, that's
probably the earliest he could start,
cool. Okay.
unless something happens. So around the doors, it'll be the, that.
So basically, anything that is stained now is going to be
Mhm.
that.
Bring it into the 21st century, huh?
Yeah, and then leave the stained blinds, those will look good
Okay.
with the gray. And as far as the door, do you wanna leave that stained on the inside, restain it?
We actually had, I need to get with you on the door, we actually had a donation to upgrade the exterior doors, so.
Okay, yeah, they're pretty rough.
Yep, so if you want to go ahead and start working on a whole new front door set, we can
Okay.
talk dollar amounts afterwards.
Okay.
But we're looking for new options for the front door.
Okay. Do you need metal, or you got wood now?
I mean, I would be okay with metal, because I would like to improve the security,
Yeah,
so,
and you're not gonna have upkeep.
exactly.
Okay.
So, and sorry to throw you the crowd, I wish I had mentioned this earlier, but.
Yeah, no.
just- But yeah, just,
I'll look at that for you, and you can have those if
Okay.
you want.
I'm gonna leave them for Floyd and let him have them here in case anybody.
And if we can change that too, if you wanna go with like a more rusty red,
Oh.
which would be fun. When we get these back.
You know, 6 one and a half dozen together, you know?
Mhm.
And then Floyd,
And
one
then
of.
we got the fence around the library.
Mhm.
I think it'd be fun in that,
I
but
do
we
too.
can, we can see once we get going.
And because
with
it'll
it.
look weathered, and it'll look rustic, and it'll look country, and it'll.
Mhm.
That's a darker color?
This gray
That
green,
grayish,
that library would be so cute.
Oh, wouldn't it though?
Yeah, and maybe we pop the door there,
Maybe so.
yeah, paint those the orange
Mhm,
windows.
mhm. Yeah, and then too, that will make it stand out because it's so set back and it's kind of dark anyway.
Yeah.
That anything that'll lighten it up and bring it, and we really want to, and I don't know if we need to do this through an engineer, if we can just kind of go out there and eyeball it. We gotta add the parking in front of the library. Cut back, trim back those bushes and so we can
Yeah.
nose in a little bit further.
Yeah, okay.
So, I like it.
All right,
Looks good to
well, we
me.
got time to do all that.
Time's the only thing that we don't know how much we got.
That's true.
That's good, I like that, thank y'all.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, anything else y'all can think of
That's it.
that we need to add to? All right. Hearing, so counselor, you're gonna have to help me with this, and how do we get out of a meeting if we don't have a quorum to agree to an adjournment?
You just call it adjourned.
Just call it adjourned? All right, well then, by the power invested in me and the authority as, I proclaim adjournment. Hooah!